It's your betting tailgate party for the round one of the NCAA Tournament for Thursday's action. Of course, it's brought to you by OffshoreInsiders.com, where you get all the best sports picks, including the Master Lock Line, the power of 620 sports services behind each and every play. The Master Lock Line at OffshoreInsiders.com. And we're going to get to some trends and some news and notes in a moment. Remember, for all the best picks, Joe Duffy's picks, we got one college, one NBA as we file this report on Wednesday night. Those games are pending. That is one in each sport pending. 31-16 overall. 5-0 college basketball run, including 1-0 in the first four. 27-11 in the NBA. Non-college basketball plays 9 college basketball plays for Thursday, led by the strongest play in the handicapping industry, a wise guy play. You want just the day action? You can get that. You want just the night action? You can get that. More details, OffshoreInsiders.com. Joe Duffy's picks, been winning in March Madness publicly since 1989. All right, folks, now here are some spread betting trends. All records are ATS. NC Wilmington against Duke. The Seahawks are 3-8 on Thursdays, 1-4 their last 5 overall. Duke Blue Devils 6-0 in the NCAA Tournament recently. Yet they're 0-6 neutral court run, 0-5 overall. Butler against Texas Tech. Butler 21-6 in the NCAA Tournament, 31-15 on neutral courts. Texas Tech 6-1 outside the conference, yet 3-13 their last 16 on neutral courts, 1-6 to the Big East. And again, I remind you, all records are against the spread. Connecticut and Colorado. Huskies 15-3 in the NCAA Tournament, 36-15 on neutral courts. Colorado, on the other hand, 5-0 overall, 1-4 though in the NCAA Tournament recently. Iona and Iowa State. Iona 7-1 overall run, 8-20 though outside the conference. Iowa State 1-4 following a spread win. Yale against Baylor. Yale is 14-5 against teams with a winning record, 10-3 against teams with a winning percentage above 600, 33-15 following a straight-up win. Baylor is 4-1 overall, 1-8 outside of the conference. Hampton against Virginia. Hampton is 6-0 following a spread win, 10-1 following a straight-up win, 14-3 overall run. Virginia 10-2 versus teams with a winning straight-up record. 10-3 following a straight-up win. 22-10 following a spread loss. Austin Peay against Kansas. The Governors 5-0 on neutral courts. Kansas 5-0 outside the conference. 11-3 overall. 8-19 on Thursdays. 1-4 in the NCAA Tournament. Arkansas Little Rock against Purdue. The Trojans 10-1 versus teams with a winning percentage of above 600. 13-3 versus teams with a winning straight-up record. Meanwhile, Purdue is 6-0 overall, 6-1 on neutral courts, 8-2 outside of the conference. Florida State against Valparaiso. Florida State 0-5 on the road versus teams with a home winning percentage of greater than 600. They're 0-5 against teams with a winning home record. Valpo 1-5 at home, 1-7 following a straight-up win, 0-4 overall. Chattanooga against Indiana. Chattanooga 5-0 against teams with a winning percentage above 600, 7-3 following a spread win, 4-10 on neutral courts. Indiana 20-8 following a spread loss, and 1-4 on neutral courts. Florida Gulf Coast against North Carolina. The Eagles are 13-1 on neutral courts, 17-5 versus teams with a winning straight-up record, 25-9 overall. Meanwhile, UNC has covered 4 straight, but they are 1-5 their last 6 NCAA Tournament games. Fresno State against Utah. The Bulldogs are 6-0 following a straight-up win. Perfect 5-0 following an ATS win. 7-0 versus teams with a winning record. But they are 22-46 on Thursdays and 9-26 on neutral courts. Utah 22-8 on Thursdays, 7-9 overall run. Wichita State against Arizona. The Shockers, 43-16 following a spread win. 58-29 following a straight-up win. 1-6 on neutral courts. Meanwhile, Arizona 6-1 outside the conference. 1-5 overall. 1-6 on neutral courts. Stony Brook versus Kentucky. Stony Brook 0-5 overall run. Kentucky is 6-2 versus a team with a winning percentage of above 600. 16-7 on neutral courts. Wildcats are 2-8 outside the conference. Providence against South Carolina. The Friars are 7-1 on Thursdays, 13-3 on neutral courts. Southern California, I should say. Did I say South Carolina? It's USC. The Trojans are 2-6 overall, 1-4 in the NCAA Tournament, and 1-6 against teams with a winning straight-up record. Gonzaga against Seton Hall. The Bulldogs are perfect 4-0 on Thursdays, 5-0 overall run. However, they've dropped 7 straight outside the conference, a push along the way. Seton Hall 9-2 their last 11 versus teams with a winning percentage of above 600. 21-6 outside the conference. 20-6 overall run. 37-16 Seton Hall is versus teams with a winning straight-up record. We're about to get to some spectacular intel in just one moment. Our famed clipboard. Keep in mind, though, you want the highest-rated place and the highest-rated services in their highest-rated sports, in particular for the NCAA Tournament. The best college basketball services, the best overall services, and the best basketball services with their highest-rated plays on the Master Lock line. And, folks, you will eventually, on most days, you're going to get anywhere from $150 to $400 worth of picks at a fraction of the cost. Pennies on the dollar, but that's how much it would cost you if you bought these picks separately. Yep, you remember from the Score Phone days, the old 976 lock line. Now the Master Lock line at offshoreinsiders.com, an exclusive. Wichita State against Arizona. Both of these teams are going to travel quite the distance. Wichita State is on one-day rest and playing 1,401 miles away from home. That's a walk in the park compared to Arizona, traveling 2,256 miles. Gonzaga against Seton Hall. Seton Hall, one of the best teams in the nation to bet on thus far this year, with a stunning 23-9 mark and a plus 4.9 margin of cover. We'll get to the keys as to what these terms mean, if you don't know what they mean, in a moment. Hampton and Virginia. Ken Palm rankings say that Hampton is the second luckiest team in the nation and easily the most fortunate in the tournament, with a luck factor at plus 147. Now, again, that generally means a team that has been lucky is a little bit overvalued, an unlucky team undervalued. Tennessee, Chattanooga, and Indiana. Chattanooga, the second most lucky team in the Big Dance and 8th in the country overall. In theory, they come in overrated. We'll get to more details, though, on what this means in a moment. Arkansas, Little Rock, and Purdue. Little Rock with the third best margin of cover in the country at plus 4.2. They're 19-10 record in the back pocket. Now, what do these terms mean? Margin of cover, renamed as Sweat Barometer by Chad Millman, etc. We called it the margin of cover for years. It's essentially similar to scoring margin, but it's measured how a team covers or fails to cover against the point spread. When the rank is quoted, if we say a team is the third best in the nation, it is based on a minimum of 15-line games. Luck factor, we get these from KenPom.com. It says a measure the deviation between a team's actual winning percentage and what one would expect from its game-by-game efficiencies. Now, most handicappers would consider the luckiest teams to be overrated with a downside and the unluckiest teams to be underrated with an upside. And if we tell you they're ranked third in the country or 25th in the country, those rankings are out of 351 Division I teams. But essentially, when you win a lot of close games, you're considered lucky. If you lose a lot of close games, you're considered unlucky. And when we quote offensive and defensive efficiency, it's points scored or allowed based on 100 possessions. But again, all the best picks, all the greatest intel at offshoreinsiders.com.